short time ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the third time in this draft, bypassed a quarterback and opted for a different player. This time, Ohio State linebacker Jack Sawyer. And that should tell you that the Pittsburgh Steelers still have a feeling of confidence that Aaron Rodgers is going to wind up in Pittsburgh, and that could have contributed to their decision to bypass a quarterback in this draft with the 3 picks that they've had so far, Peter.
Adam, as I noted earlier in the program, this is not a traditional situation by any means. It's also not a traditional situation for a day 3 pick. Shedeur Sanders does not have a traditional agent. So there is not an agent who is now working the phones necessarily in a traditional way. It's going to be through Deion, Shedeur, and Deion's camp, and we have an answer, hopefully, in the next few hours.
And again, we're at the point in the draft where all these teams have now bypassed Shedeur Sanders multiple times. Many have drafted quarterbacks. We're in an area where there's the dynamic to evaluate and how he would fit into your quarterback room as much as how much he might improve your roster. But it continues to be the one question that hangs over this 2025 NFL draft, Reese.
It is. It's a remarkable thing, and you wonder who will eventually do it, if anyone does. Shedeur, I think, you saw some of the comments he made immediately afterwards. Has handled this with as much public grace as one could imagine up to this point, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it and see exactly what happens with Shedeur Sanders if he hears his name called. Let's pick up some of the most recent picks. You probably see in the background there that the Chargers, with the 125th pick, took Kyle Kennard from South Carolina, veteran guy, father of 2, led the SEC in sacks last year.
He sure did, 17 over the past 2 years. Ideal measurables at 6'4", 254, long arms, 34-inch arms. You watch him week 3 against LSU, lining up against Will Campbell, and he gave him all he could handle. He has a great upfield and then dip and rip inside, an inside counter move that's just fantastic. Rushes with a lot of power, has tremendous stamina. You see him in Q4, he looks the same as he does in the first snap of Q1. He's going to get after it. He's going to chase the football. You really like the pick here. It's great 4th-round value for an edge rusher of his quality.
Well, they need edge rushers out there. That was a position I thought maybe they could have gone even earlier in this draft, maybe in the 1st round. Instead, they go Marion Hampton. But if you watch South Carolina's defense this past year, and they've had a lot of guys drafted, and they will in the next 2 years as well. Yeah. Kyle Kennard was the glue that made that defense go, and he was the player that was really setting the tempo with effort, with his ability coming off the edge. So I do think with the Chargers, he can stand up, he can go hand down, but you're getting somebody whose motor runs hot all day.
Would you like to be the first to say the name Dylan Stewart from South Carolina? You get a couple years head start.
He can go now.
There's another Dylan that just went off the board to the Browns, Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Hey, his background, went to Dutchtown High School in Louisiana and broke all of former Packer Eddie Lacy's high school rushing records there.
Quinshon Judkins, now you get Dylan Sampson. You got 2 excellent running backs coming to the Cleveland Browns, and I was a big fan of Dylan Sampson all year. This kid had, talking about being a workhorse, he had 20 or more carries in 8 games, only 20 years of age. So he was a guy that Josh Heupel raved about his leadership, his work ethic. He gets the tough yards, very explosive, cutback ability is outstanding. He follows his blockers, then he's off to the races. Really difficult to handle between the tackles as well. Fights for every yard, and that got him in trouble. You see him battling, you see his explosiveness, his game-breaking ability, but the fumbles. When you're going to battle down to the bitter end, cough the ball up in 3 straight games. Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi State, 4 fumbles lost. That's something ball security cleaned that up, Dylan. It was all because of effort. It was at the end of runs, Lou. Yeah. And that's something that can be cleaned up. It's just his determination, his want to get that extra inch, extra yard, caused some of those issues in terms of ball security.
With the loss of Nick Chubb, they had to upgrade the running back position, and now they have done it with a nice complement of backs between Quinshon and Dylan Sampson. And look, with Carson Swessinger, Mason Graham, just think about what he's going to do with Myles Garrett, keep him on the move, creating pressure inside, lots of pass rush games. Cleveland's done some nice work.
Back in high school, he ran a 4.32 40.
Woo.
We root for all of these guys. We all particularly want Dylan Sampson to have a very, very long career because he wants to go into sports broadcasting. And from talking to him, he's going to be very good at it. So let's play for a long time, Dylan. We all like our jobs for a while. And then you can do your job with the Browns. Best available is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Got a mix of defensive players and offensive players in this group. Y.A. Black, we talked about it, defensive back. It's not going to fit everybody. He's not going to be a pass rusher. He's going to be a clogger. He's kind of old school throwback defensive tackle at 6'6", 336 pounds. Royals and Io Manor are two receivers that have size, physicality to their game, and I love Royals, the versatility to be slot and wide. And I love the production on a consistent basis. Everybody knew he was the guy you had to kind of neutralize and contain. They couldn't do it. Jalen Royals had a heck of a career at Utah State.
Recent selections, Jalen Travis, a former Princeton, Iowa State tackle taken by the Colts. Jalen Lane goes. Ravens, let's go to London.
This is James Ogden, member of the UK Ravens flock, coming to you live from Tower Bridge and the Raven Pub in London. With the 129th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Teddy Buchanan, linebacker from Cal. Go Ravens!
Teddy Buchanan had a 40-inch vertical at the Combine. He was first team All-ACC. You don't follow college football closely. Cal is indeed now in the ACC. What do we got here in Teddy Buchanan in terms of translating to the professional level?
Yeah, this is a guy we got a chance to talk about the LA Bowl this year. He translates beautifully to the NFL level where he's 6'2", 233 pounds. You mentioned the 40-inch vert, 4.64 in the 40. He had 8 career interceptions before he transferred to Cal. While he was at UC Davis, played safety and quarterback in high school. When he got to Cal, he was a guy who liked to get up on the line of scrimmage. He's got tremendous blitz ability because of his run-hit factor, the ability to get up in the line of scrimmage, get off the edge, rush the passer with speed, had good range, track down ability. What I'd like to see with Teddy Buchanan is at the point of attack, use that 6'2", 233-pound frame to really knock some people's heads. Roquan Smith, you go to Baltimore, he'll teach you how to do that. Just follow his lead. But this is a guy who really fits the Ravens profile. Mike Green, Malachi Starks. I mean, these are the kind of things that Eric DeCosta does. He's in his wheelhouse right now with the kind of picks he has made so far this year.
The Ravens celebrating their selection, and the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions, are now on the clock. We'll go down now for the announcement. See what they're doing now. Let's see who
traded to the Jets.
Traded to the Jets, so the Jets now on the clock.
Let's go Jets! Woo. The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 130th pick to the New York Jets. With the 130th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Malachi Moore, DB, Alabama.
So Malachi Moore out of Alabama, he's one of the leaders during the transition from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. He, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker were the guys who really held it together. This is a guy who's a really smart guy in the secondary for the Tide.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Very smart, has very safety. This past year, he moves to a primarily safety role. 434 safety snaps to just 208 snaps in the slot. Has some good production as well in the back end. 11 receivers at the top of their routes, but can handle some of that slot duties against tight ends.
Yeah, that's when I talked to scouts about him earlier this season. They said he can be a chess piece, can play inside, can play outside, but I think the football IQ, the physicality that he brings to the level, he's going to be a hybrid safety for the New York Jets. That's a role that they need. Aaron Glenn's done a pretty good job with guys like Kirby Joseph in that role.
He could also be a core special teamer as well.
And a good tackler.
Yeah, absolutely. Saw him knock down Brock Bowers in that highlight right there. It might be something he's called on to do. And as Malachi Moore enters the league, he certainly has a young, devoted fan he was very close to on his mind.
My mom's name is Penny Moore. She was a kindergarten teacher. There was a little girl there named Henrietta. She was an Alabama fan. She really doesn't care too much about football. She's always been a fan of me.
Go